Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Can you still smell good while only spending $20? Yes, you can. And today I'm gonna prove it by sharing with you 12 of the best cologne fragrances that you can pick up today for under 20 bucks, which honestly, fragrances in this price range are getting harder to find. Go back years ago and there were all kinds of fragrances under 20 bucks. Nowadays, not as many. But if you know where to look, you can still pick some up that are top notch. All of these are gonna be linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down below. Most of these prices I pulled from JOMASHOP, some I pulled from Gift Express. And depending on where you look, you can find most of these for under 20 bucks at other stores as well. Let's kick it off with this one from Maison Alhambra. It is Victorioso Legend, which is nowadays known as Victorioso Myth. $19.99, so technically under 20 bucks. And the reason they changed the name is because with the color scheme and the name of the fragrance, it is very similar to Invictus Legend. So they were like, well, we'll keep pretty much everything the same except change it from Legend to Myth, problem solved. And apparently that is the case because no issue since then. So as I said, this one smells very similar to Invictus Legend, which is unfortunately nowadays discontinued. And it is very similar to that vibe. So it's gonna give you that balance of freshness with sweetness and great performance. Extremely versatile, and in typical Invictus fashion, has a bit of a bubblegummy vibe when you first spray it on. Invictus Legend is one of those ones that's kind of strange in a way. Not in the sense that it smells strange, but strange in the sense that when it came out, a lot of people who were big fans of Invictus said, this is pretty much the best Invictus fragrance, period, as far as fragrances that smelled similar to the original Invictus in style. Because of course, since then, there have been other Invictus fragrances that have come out that are kind of doing their own thing, like Victory Elixir and stuff like that. But as far as keeping true to what Invictus traditionally has smelled like, Invictus Legend was a big hit with a lot of people, and it actually wasn't available all that long before Paco Rabanne gave it the old. So with this fragrance, for under 20 bucks, in some places even closer to like 16, again, depending on where you're looking, you get something that's gonna give you that sea salty, bay leaf, sweet vibe of Invictus mixed with grapefruit and a nice bit of woodiness as it dries down. Huge versatility, big compliment factor, and the quality way higher than you'd expect. The next fragrance, more for fall and winter time, and it's the type of scent that is enormously popular. This scent profile, this fragrance DNA, everywhere. But most of the fragrances that are like this one are gonna be over 20 bucks, even if just by a little bit, you know, 24, 25, 26, but this one just under 20. It's called Cocktail Intense, and it is $18.97. And you can tell what this is, right? You can see this is kind of Angel Share-esque. It smells similar to Camera, things like that. It's completely overlooked, even by its own brand, right? This is Fragrance World, but really when it comes to Fragrance World / French Avenue, the Royal Blend fragrances are the ones that everybody talks about. Royal Blend, And to be fair, Royal Blend does look more expensive, like when you put these side by side, but that's because Royal Blend is a little more expensive, so it looks a little more expensive. So this one's gonna give you cognac, cinnamon, vanilla, tonka, and plum. It is one of those fragrances that gets better with age. So if you let it mature a little bit, it projects better, it lasts longer, because when you first get this one in, it might be a little bit weak, especially compared to some of the other fragrances of this style out there. But give it a little time, let it mature, and this stuff gets way better. Nice sweetness, nice booziness, and also a bit of a nice woodiness as it dries down as well, which helps set this one apart ever so slightly. Amazing for fall and winter, big compliment for it. The next one you have to include if you're talking fragrances under 20 bucks, Detour Noir by Al Haramain. Presentation, kind of cheap. I've talked about this before, but just wiping the bottle off of fingerprints, it made all the writing disappear. So my fragrance bottle now says Radi. There's not many letters left. $19.95 for this one, and it smells similar to Parfums de Marly's Leighton. So it's another one that is perfect for fall and winter time, another one that smells way more expensive than you would ever expect. And this one was at one point probably the most hyped cologne fragrance out there. Like when Detour Noir first dropped, people went crazy for this stuff. Now, as time has gone on, a lot of other Leighton alternatives have come out there, some that are similar to the original, some similar to Leighton Exclusive, and Detour Noir has maybe lost a little bit of its luster. But still, for under $20, this stuff, one of the best fragrances that you can get out there. Spicy, sexy, just the right balance of sweetness, perfect for a night out. 9 p.m. you can also get for under $20. Now, most places, this one's gonna be about $24, $25, which still really, really, really cheap. But I found a tester of this, I think it was at Gift Express, for just under 20 bucks, $19.95. So that counts. Now, it is a tester bottle, but to be fair, I don't think too many people out there are buying clone fragrances to have the boxes and put them on display or anything, so not really a huge deal, at least in my opinion. 9 p.m., of course, smells similar to Ultramale by Jean Paul Gaultier. And there are other alternatives to that fragrance out there, of course, but this one is the most well-known. It's gonna give you that perfect balance of freshness and sweetness, extremely attention-grabbing, good performance as well, especially for 20 bucks. And this stuff, extremely versatile. 9 p.m. you can wear realistically about whenever you want. Maybe middle of summer you reach for something else, because while it does have a nice freshness to it, it is pretty strong and has that sweet aspect as well. Outside of that though, wear it whenever you want. This stuff people absolutely love. That's why it's one of the most popular fragrances out there as far as clones go. And for under 20 bucks, easily one of the best. Let's go Odyssey next. Odyssey Mega Man. Yeah, like the NES games. Technically it just says Mega on the front there, but you look this up and it says Mega Man. Limited edition, it says, but it's still easily found. So maybe not that limited, I guess. $19.99 for this, so it's just barely under the cutoff. And this smells similar to YSL's Y Eau de Parfum. A lot of ginger and citrus in here off the top, nicely sweet, brisk, fresh. Also has that clean aspect like you would expect from a Y fragrance, has that juniper as it dries down, even a touch of pineapple as well. Now there is another Y alternative out there, Y Eau de Parfum, which is Facar Black. Also really cheap and very good. I did have issues with this one initially in terms of performance. This is one of the fragrances that when I first got it in, sprayed it on, it didn't seem to last, didn't seem to project. And I would say it's still not a monster. That's really the drawback for this fragrance. It's more average in terms of performance, but the scent itself smells really, really good. So if you're looking for something that smells quite similar to Y Eau de Parfum and you don't mind that the performance here is not beast mode, this is great for under 20 bucks. And of course, extremely versatile. The next one is kind of a sleeper, but really, really good. But before we get to that one, a bunch of codes that you can use to save money on clones or really any kind of fragrance. And the prices I'm quoting you today are without codes. So if you used codes, they would be even cheaper. I've got codes for JOMASHOP that only work within the JOMASHOP app, codes for Gift Express, for the perfume box, for Fragflex, and a bunch of other stores as well. So use those codes anytime you're shopping for fragrances, save some extra money. The next one is heavy duty. The bottle weighs a ton. It is Hooked Pour Homme. $19.99 for this fragrance, and it smells quite similar to Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal. Now you might say, yeah, but there's Odyssey Mandarin Sky, which there is. And that one is also very good. That's a great alternative to Scandal as well. That one is a little more expensive than this one though. Because with these Odyssey fragrances, the size is, I think, 60 mils for like the $19.99 pricing. And Mandarin Sky, when I looked that one up, if memory serves correctly, it was like 22 or something like that for 60 mil. So it's not that much more, but a 100 mil of Odyssey Mandarin Sky is gonna be at least, you know, $5, $6 more than this one. I realize that's not that much money, but still. So this is gonna give you that very similar feel to Jean Paul Gaultier's Scandal, that sort of aromatic vibe with sweetness as it dries down, kind of a caramel tonka feeling as it dries. Perfect for fall and winter time, under the radar compared to the Armaf, so far fewer people know about this one or are wearing this one. And just in terms of bang for buck, that stuff is killer. And you can't go without mentioning this, Assad by Lattafa, $19.95. This is probably the most well-known sub $20 clone fragrance out there. It smells similar to Sauvage Elixir by Dior, so it's gonna give you a very similar feel to that one, that sort of woody spiciness, very masculine, very strong. You can also get Assad Zanzibar for under $20 as well. Assad Bourbon is usually a little bit more. Assad Elixir, of course, is new, so that one is gonna be the most expensive of them all. But between the original Assad and Assad Zanzibar, I feel like this is just the better buy for more people. When Assad Zanzibar first came out, did not get a great reaction. It's, you know, not as immediately appealing for a lot of people. It had like some funky aspects to it and just really did not impress a lot of people, we'll say. Which is also why the price on that one dropped so much. It dropped quick too. The original Assad is ultra popular, but I think they just churn these out by the hundreds of thousands and keep the price really low and affordable. Assad, easily, anytime you're talking clone fragrances under 20 bucks, I feel like it has to be there. It's one of the most popular clones on the market, just like 9PM. Now I talked before about this guy over here, Invictus Legend, or a dupe of Invictus Legend. There's also this one. This is Victorioso Victory, but they changed the name on this one too. It is now known as Victorioso Nero, but it's the same outside of that. Please don't sue me, I changed the name to Nero. De Niro? What? What? You looking at me? Yeah. I can't see. That's why I knocked that over. You talking to me?
You talking to me? Well, who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?
De Niro! So this one is $19.99 as well, just under 20 bucks. Smells like Invictus Victory, not Victory Elixir, just the original Victory. So it's gonna give you a nice spiciness, of course, a good amount of vanilla as it dries down. Technically, I think tonka is the note, but it gives a very vanilla-esque vibe. Also a little bit of an incensiness, touch of smoke, amber as well. Not a monster in terms of projection, but the longevity is solid. And for sub 20 bucks, this stuff, basically as close as you could possibly get to smelling like you have Invictus Victory on. Which when Invictus Victory came out, that immediately became my most favorite Invictus fragrance until they came out with Victory Elixir. But I think with both of these, honestly, under 20 bucks, it gets you both sides of Invictus. You know, it gets you that kind of original feeling, that bubblegummy, fresh, sweet stuff, and over here, that deeper, incense-tinged tonka vanilla vibe. Get both of them right there. Which is next? How about this one right here? Starmin Nebula, $19.99. This is Fragrance World once again. The bottle is kind of like a weird Nautica Voyage-esque shape, but the fragrance itself is Mugler Pure Malt. Say less. Yes, a fragrance that is a clone of a discontinued scent. And not just that, but a darn good discontinued scent. A nice rich booziness, perfect for fall and wintertime. A little bit of a dried fruit aspect in there as well. It is the first fragrance I think I ever bought from Fragrance World. And at the time, before I smelled it, I remember thinking this stuff is going to suck. Just like the look of it, it just looked cheap, you know? It was like, that is some throwaway stuff. It's not gonna be it. But it won me over. I bought some more Fragrance World stuff, and as time has gone on and they've really like leaned into the French Avenue brand and everything, I got some seriously good stuff. And it all started for me right here. Let's go back to Alhambra Cassius. $17.95. Maison Alhambra, really cheap in general. This one, obviously, very close to Carlisle by Parfums de Marly. I say obviously, it's because of the whole color scheme and the bottle look and all that. I feel like it's pretty obvious. I've said this before though, the bottle cap to me reminds me of like Oregon Trail. It's like one of those wagons. Oh man, I died of dysentery. Ah, dang it. I crapped myself to death. Ah. Now, Carlisle smells a little bit similar to Red Tobacco by Mancera and also a little bit similar to Mystery Tobacco by Carolina Herrera. It's not gonna be quite as aggressive, not as in your face as something like Red Tobacco, just like Carlisle. This one is a little bit more refined, a little bit more dressed up. And for sub 20 bucks, it is way closer to Carlisle than it should ever be. Now, obviously the PDM, which costs, you know, 15 to 20 times more than this one, is going to smell smoother. It's gonna have a little more depth to it. But this one gets across a very similar feel, especially in the air, at an astronomically lower price point. Another Armaf Odyssey, this one is Aqua. And frankly, I could have put a lot of different Odyssey fragrances in here because most of them you can get for about 20 bucks if you're looking at that 60 ml size. This one I found priced just a little lower than this one, $18.95 for Aqua over here, which smells similar to Invictus Platinum. Another Invictus. But Invictus Platinum smells similar to Bad Boy Cobalt. So you could wear this one as an alternative to really either of those. Invictus Platinum does still do that sort of like mix of fresh and sweet at the same time, but it's more green. So there's absinthe in there, there's mint, there's lavender, also grapefruit, and then kind of a woody vibe as it dries down. And Odyssey Aqua, even though it's named Aqua, you would think it's gonna be like a very aquatic fragrance. Instead, it has a lot of mint, it has citrus, lavender, ambroxan, and some of those woody notes as it dries, just like Invictus Platinum. Great versatility, really nice daytime fragrance during spring, summer, or fall. And it's another one of those fragrances that lasts a long time on your skin. Maybe doesn't project like an absolute beast, but lasts a long, long time. And the final fragrance, which I technically cheated on. It was $20.36. That's before discount, so if you used a discount code, it would drop below $20, so it counts. But I just wanted to say it was technically above $20 by 36 cents before any codes. Scepter Malachite by Maison Alhambra. And this bro right here is God of Fire on the cheap. There are a bunch of God of Fire clones out there. A whole mess load of them. This one is basically like the true budget clone of that fragrance. You can maybe find a dupe that lasts longer than this or projects harder. You can maybe find a dupe that has a little more depth than this one. But as far as just maximum bang for your buck, this is the best one because it is under 20 bucks after code. It has good longevity, decent projection. The quality is nice. It gets across the vibe of God of Fire. It can pull compliments just like any of the others. It's just dirt cheap. And there we go. All of these you can get for under 20 bucks. So even though lots of fragrances out there keep getting more and more and more expensive, both at retail and discounters, there are still some great ones to be found for under 20 bucks. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite sub $20 pickup is, if there is one. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.